You did almost nothing today. And yet, by the afternoon, your body feels like it carried something heavy for hours. You haven't run a marathon. You haven't lifted anything. You barely left your chair. But the tiredness is real and it's pressing down on you, and somewhere underneath it all, there's a small voice asking what is wrong with you. Most quiet people have felt this. The exhaustion that has no receipt. The fatigue that arrives without a witness. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's not a vitamin you forgot to take. It's something else, and it has a name, even if no one ever taught it to you. It's invisible labor, the work your nervous system does behind the scenes, all day, without telling you. The kind of effort that doesn't show up in your calendar, doesn't get logged in any app, doesn't earn you a single thank you, but it costs you. It costs you the same way a long walk costs you, except the walk happened entirely inside your head. So today, we're going to look at why you feel tired after doing nothing, and why nothing was, in fact, a lot. Maybe you woke up this morning and, before your feet even touched the floor, you ran through a small list of things you might have forgotten. Maybe you replayed a sentence from yesterday 3 times, looking for the moment you said the wrong thing. Maybe you opened your phone and felt your chest tighten before you read the first message. Maybe you spent 20 minutes choosing what to wear, not because you care about clothes, but because every option came with a tiny prediction about how the day would go. Maybe you sat down to start something simple, and your brain ran a full simulation of how it might fail before your hands even moved. Maybe you walked into a room and adjusted your face for someone who wasn't even looking at you. Maybe you noticed the hum of the refrigerator, the footsteps of a neighbor upstairs, the seam of your shirt against your neck, all at once, and you couldn't unfocus from any of it. Maybe you wrote a message, then deleted it, then rewrote it, then sent something shorter. Maybe you smiled at a stranger and then felt a small wave of tiredness afterward, and you didn't know why. Maybe you sat in silence for an hour and somehow felt like you had been talking the whole time. None of that shows up on a to-do list. But all of it is work. And by the time the sun begins to drop, your body is presenting you with a bill for hours of labor your mind doesn't remember performing. Here's what's actually happening inside you. Your brain has a system called the default mode network. It's the part that turns on when you're not focused on a task. People sometimes call it the resting state, but that name is misleading because the default mode network is rarely resting. It's running scenarios. It's reviewing the past. It's rehearsing the future. It's checking in on your relationships, your reputation, your unfinished business. For sensitive thinkers, this network is often louder, more detailed, more relentless. So even when you're sitting still, a significant part of your brain is working full-time on a project no one assigned you. Imagine a tab on a computer that you can never quite close. It hums in the background. It uses memory. It heats up the device. You don't see it, but it's there, and it's the reason your battery dies faster than it should. Your inner narrator is that tab. And for some of you, there are dozens of them open at once. Then there's allostatic load. This is a real concept from neuroscience. It refers to the cumulative cost of staying regulated in a world that keeps demanding small adjustments from you. Every notification, every unexpected sound, every micro decision, every social interaction where you had to pick a tone, pick a word, pick a smile. Every one of those is a tiny tax on your nervous system, and taxes add up. By the afternoon, you've paid hundreds of them, and you don't remember paying any single one, but the wallet is empty. Think of it like carrying a glass of water on a tray all day while walking through a busy hallway. Each bump, each turn, each near collision requires a small adjustment to keep the water from spilling. You're not lifting anything heavy, but by the end of the day, your arms are shaking because the constant correction was the work. There's also something called interoception. It's your brain's ability to feel what's happening inside your body. Sensitive people often have heightened interoception, which sounds nice, but it means you're tracking your own heartbeat, your own breath, your own stomach, your own tension all day without realizing it. Imagine running a background program on your phone that constantly checks the battery, the temperature, the signal, the storage, the memory. That's what your body is doing to itself. And it's expensive. For some of you, this also means that small physical sensations get amplified. A slightly fast heartbeat becomes a question. A tight shoulder becomes a worry. A skipped meal becomes a quiet alarm. Your body is talking to you all day, and you're trying, kindly, to listen, even when you don't realize you're listening. Add to that the seeking system, the dopamine circuit that pulls you toward novelty. Every time you open your phone, every time you switch tabs, every time you start a thought and then drift to another one, your brain spends a small amount of fuel. It feels like nothing. It is not nothing. The brain is the most metabolically expensive organ in your body. Even at rest, it consumes a remarkable share of your daily energy. And when it's switching, scanning, predicting, the cost climbs higher. Then there's executive function, the part of your brain that decides what to do next. Choosing, prioritizing, starting, stopping, switching. For many sensitive and neurodivergent-leaning adults, executive function is not broken, it's just overworked. It's been making thousands of micro-decisions since you opened your eyes. What to wear, whether to answer, when to eat, how to phrase something, whether to say yes, whether to feel guilty about saying no. Each one is small. Together, they're a marathon you didn't know you were running. And then there's the social rehearsal, the part of you that drafts, replies you'll never send, that imagines arguments you'll never have, that prepares for rejections that may never come. This is your brain trying to keep you safe by predicting every possible version of every possible interaction. It's ancient, it's protective, it's exhausting. For people with high rejection sensitivity, this rehearsal can run for hours, sometimes for days, after a single ambiguous message. There's also the matter of suppression. If you grew up in an environment where your big feelings were inconvenient to others, you likely learned to dampen them in real time, to smile when you were uncomfortable, to soften your voice when you were upset, to hold a steady face when something inside you was breaking. Suppression is one of the most energy-expensive things a nervous system can do. It is, quite literally, the body holding itself shut. And the cost of holding doesn't disappear just because no one saw it. So when you say you did nothing today, what you actually mean is you carried all of this, quietly, without applause, without a single moment where someone said, "That looked hard, you ran a default mode network on high, you paid your allostatic taxes." You listened to your body. You made hundreds of small choices. You rehearsed conversations that never happened. You held parts of yourself in, and then you wonder why you're tired. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not lacking discipline. You're someone whose inner world is busy in ways the outer world doesn't reward or even notice. The tiredness you feel is honest. It's your body keeping an accurate record of work that no one else can see. And the world has trained you, gently and not so gently, to discount that work because it doesn't produce a deliverable, doesn't fill a spreadsheet, doesn't earn a paycheck, doesn't show up in a photo. But your nervous system isn't a spreadsheet. It's a living thing, and it knows what it spent today, even if your calendar disagrees. Most quiet people live their entire lives believing they should be able to do more, when in truth they've already done a great deal, just on a frequency that doesn't show up on the surface. There is a whole second life happening inside you, and it has its own weather, its own seasons, its own labor. You are not imagining the weight of it. If anyone has ever told you that you have no reason to be tired, they were measuring with the wrong instrument. Your tiredness has reasons. They're just internal, and they're real, and they deserve the same respect as any visible effort. You, in particular, are not failing at energy. You are spending it on things that don't have names yet. Here's a small thing you can carry with you. The next time you finish a day that looked like nothing from the outside, try saying to yourself, "I did invisible work today, and it counted." You don't have to list it. You don't have to prove it. You just have to stop pretending it didn't happen. If this resonated, you already know where to come.